Hey, what's up guys, John here. October 5th, Yahoo News came out with this article saying, could this passport be introduced for holiday makers?
Every time you catch a flight, you're adding a significant number of planet-warming gases to the atmosphere.
We're developing an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. Where are they traveling? How are they traveling? Individual carbon footprint tracker.
This year has been of extreme weather conditions and devastating wildfires and floods happening across the globe. And according to Holiday Company, this crisis is behind the events that could be addressing the restricting international travel with these passports, right? So I saw this, like, maybe they'll do it, maybe they're not. But then 3 weeks later, CNN came out saying it's time to limit how often we can travel abroad with these passports. They may be the answer. I think what many people in America don't realize is that this is the death of 1,000 cuts of everything we once knew. We're walking in to a much more expensive world. If you want to be able to travel, if you want to be able to do certain things, you're going to need a lot more money to get the same bang for your buck. It's a sad reality, but I'm going to show you exactly what's going on and what you should do right now to prepare for it. If you take this advice, you're going to put yourself in a way better position to be able to go out there and travel, to do the things that you want to do. And if you ignore it, even though the writing's on the wall, this is what they say is going to happen. This isn't my opinion. I have no opinion on this. Facts are facts. Emotion changes day by day. So when you look at the facts and you see what the facts are, you can make smart calculating decisions for yourself, for your business, for your family, in advance of everybody else. Because 99% of people are completely asleep as to what's really going to be going forward in this new normal. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate other people about what's happening in America and the world. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for what I believe is going to be the greatest rug pull in American history, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, and a negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. If you're thinking about getting a business loan or expanding your business, putting yourself in a really, really strong position, you're going to need great credit to do it. We'd love to give you a free strategy session at GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Take a look at this. So let's say, for example, we're going back to 2020, right? 2020, the dollar has fallen 17% since the last 3 years, right? So if you were making, hypothetically, $80,000 a year, right? $80,000 a year, just due to the erosion of the dollar and inflation, it's a $13,600 tax. So you're left with roughly $66,400. So that'll be about $5,500 per month, not including taxes on that money. So maybe $4,500 you're left with, maybe $4,200, $4,000. The average rental in America is $1,500. The average car payment is $729. You add up insurance and gas and food, the person making $80,000 a year is almost in the red now. But what people don't realize is where we're actually headed. Look at what CNN is saying right now so you can position yourself for this. Because how this whole thing is going to play out, it's unbelievable. A lot of people would have written this off as crazy maybe a year ago, maybe 6 months ago, but not today. It says the summer of 2023 was very significant for the travel industry. By the end of July, international tourist arrivals globally reached 84% of pre-pandemic levels. In some European countries, such as France, Denmark, and Ireland, tourism demand has even surpassed pre-pandemic levels. This may be great news economically, but there's concern that a return to the status quo is already showing a dire environmental and social consequences. The summer saw record-breaking heat waves across many parts of the world, people being forced to flee wildfires in Greece and Hawaii, and extreme weather warnings were issued in many popular holiday destinations like Portugal, Spain, Turkey. Experts attributed these extreme conditions to the climate. Tourism is part of the problem. The tourism sector generates around 1/10 of greenhouse gas that are driving this crisis. The negative impacts of tourism on the environment have become so severe that some are suggesting drastic changes to our travel habits are inevitable. In a report from 2023 that analyzed the future of sustainable travel, tour operator Interpreted Travel proposed that these passports will soon become a reality if the tourism industry hopes to survive. The idea of this passport centers on the traveler being assigned a yearly allowance that they cannot exceed. These allowances can then ration travel, right? So they're going to be given a certain allowance. Every individual will be given this allowance. And what's going to happen is individuals will be able to sell their allowance. And so what that means is if you want to travel, you're going to have to buy someone else's allowance if you've exceeded your own. And because of this, there's going to be less flights traveling. And so obviously, if there's less available seats, your prices are going to be going up, right? So to travel to Europe is no longer going to be $4,000, $5,000 to go for a couple weeks. It might be 15, might be 20, might be 30 grand, right? So when you look at even what Elon Musk is doing, it's very, very fascinating. So Elon Musk, he, over the last couple of years, has been selling his credits. So Tesla has been earning revenues from the sale of these credits since 2017. These credits, otherwise called, these offsets or these allowances, give companies a way to offset their emissions by investing in projects that reduce planet warming emissions, right? So he's been selling off these credits for years, making tons and tons of money. And when you are in an affordability crisis like what we're in right now, you're going to start seeing a lot of people selling off these credits. So you have to ask yourself, what's going to happen next? How is this whole thing going to play out? Well, I believe that over 2024, this is going to start to really become more normalized. Because if you think about just how fast this conversation went from, this is the 27th of November, right? The 27th of November. Then this came out on the 5th, right? So in the course of 3 weeks, it went from could this be introduced to it's time to limit, right? And then this right here, this was only 2 days ago, or this was 2 days ago. It's time to limit how often we can travel abroad, right? And they say right here, what is this? And the same exact thing, they're talking about how it's going to be, they're assigned a yearly allowance that they cannot exceed. So the big question is, if $80,000 is a pretty good earnings, pretty good income a couple years ago, where, you could live in a city, you could, travel, you could do things that you wanted to do. Now $80,000 comes down to, give or take $4,000 a month in net income. Is that enough to survive? Even today, maybe it's a stretch, right? Maybe not. In 5 years, what will $80,000 buy you? Probably nothing. Probably nothing. And so the sad reality is that the hard conversation people don't want to have right now is that to be able to move in a way in which you did in 2019 is going to cost a heck of a lot more money, right? That maybe you want to go from 80,000 to 380,000 over the next couple of years to be able to maintain. That's the reality. And when we're walking into a situation like what we're walking into right now in this economy, there's going to be some people that are going to make really, really smart decisions to plan in advance for all this. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, it's crazy. It's not going to happen. No way, not going to happen. And then those people are going to wake up and be like, whoa, where are we? What is happening right now? It's already cemented. This is already happening. The concept may seem extreme, but the idea of these allowances is not new. A similar concept called the trading, right, personal trading, was discussed by UK Parliament in 2008 before being shut down because it was perceived complexity and possible public resistance. But now with everything that happened in the world, every week it's a big breaking story. This is just going to come right under the rug. People are going to wake up one day and say, okay, it's fine. This is what's happening. The average annual footprint for a person in the U.S. is 16 tons, one of the highest in the world. In the UK, this figure sits at 11.7 tons, still more than 5 times the figure recommended, right? The figure recommended by this Paris Agreement. So you think about this. They're recommending a reduction of 80% in the UK. 80% in the UK. So you just have to imagine what this is going to mean for travel, what this is going to mean to really live a really, really, really nice life, right? It's going to cost so much more. To keep global temperatures below this, 2.7 Fahrenheit above the pre-industrial levels. Globally, the average footprint of a person is closer to 4 tons, but to have the highest chance of preventing temperature rise from overshooting 2 Celsius, the average global footprint needs to drop to under 2 tons over the next 30 years, right? Next, 27 years. This figure equates to roughly 2 round-trip flights between London and New York. So you can imagine what this is going to look like if you have a family, right? And you want to travel with your family. Interpret Travel's report predicts that we will see these passports in action by 2040. However, several laws and restrictions have been put in place over the past year that suggest our travel habits may already be on the verge of change. Between 2013 and 2018, the amount of CO2 emitted by commercial aircraft worldwide increased by 32%. Improvements in fuel efficiency are slowly reducing per passenger emission, but research from 2014 found that whatever the industry efforts to reduce its emissions, they will be outweighed by growth in air traffic. For these reductions to have meaningful effect, ticket prices would have to rise by 1.4% each year, discouraging some people from flying. However, in reality, ticket prices have been falling. Some European countries are beginning to take measures to reduce air travel. As of April 1st, 2023, passengers on short-haul flights and older aircrafts in Belgium have been subject to increased taxes to encourage alternative forms of travel. Less than 2 months later, France banned short-haul domestic flights where the same trip can be made by train in 2.5 hours or less. Spain is expected to follow suit. A similar scheme could also be on the horizon for Germany. A 2021 YouGov poll found that 70% of Germans would support such measures to fight this climate if alternate transport routes like trains or ships were available. So, here's what I think. I believe if you are an absolute beast, you're aggressive, you are ambitious, fearless, you see the world for what it is, and you're going to fight for what's yours, you're going to make things happen. Right? You're going to make it happen. You're going to put the extra time, the overtime. You're going to skip going out for drinks with your buddies. You're going to make the sacrifice you have to make now to position yourself for tomorrow. That's what I think is going to happen. I think the people that are really going to go for it are going to do this, and they're going to position themselves to go from the 80,000 to 380,000, or from the 300,000 to the 2 million. Right? They're going to really look to level up the next couple of years, because the next couple of years are going to be more important than ever. What do you think about this entire situation? Drop below. Let's have a conversation about this. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for what I believe is going to be the greatest wealth transfer in American history, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. If you're looking to get a business loan, you're looking to expand your business to position yourself, you're likely going to need access to money and access to credit. Right now, banks are already starting to tighten up on who's getting loans. So if you have a bad credit score, you're viewed as high risk, that's not the position you want to be in right now in this world. Go to GreatCreditFast.com if you want to fix your credit to position yourself for this massive wealth transfer. Catch you in the next video.